Rockstar has officially entered what many developers call the final lockdown phase for GTA 6's development. Alright, and if history repeats itself, the next few months could be the most exciting period we've seen before a Rockstar launch. We're talking about potential screenshots, previews, final marketing, preloads, review copies, and finally even trailer 3, maybe even trailer 4, and maybe even the long-awaited gameplay reveal. All right, so what does the final lockdown, actually mean, and what GTA fans should realistically expect from it. All right, we're gonna talk a little bit more on that and get into more details. All right, so now if you're excited about GTA 6 and want the latest news breakdowns and guides, make sure to subscribe because we're covering everything leading up to the launch. Now let's get right into it. So what does lockdown actually mean? When people hear lockdown, they sometimes imagine Rockstar shutting everyone out or making some huge announcement. In reality, it's more normal stage of a AAA game development. As a massive game gets closer to release, studios become extremely strict about who has access to builds, internal information, and development tools. So developers finish their assigned features, major systems stop changing, the focus shifts towards fixing bugs, improving performance, optimizing every platform, and making sure the entire game is stable. Alright, so no new features are being developed at this point. So this is often called a content lock or a feature complete. Alright, and instead of constantly adding new mechanics, the team concentrates on polishing everything that's already in the game. For a title as massive as GTA 6, this is probably one of the most important steps, part of the whole life cycle. Alright, so let's go over why this is a huge deal. Rockstar reportedly spent well over a decade building GTA 6. Who knows when they started, right? Thousands of developers across multiple Rockstar studios have contributed to the project. Every mission, vehicle, animation, NPC behavior, environmental details now work together without major issues. Alright, there's an enormous challenge, and even a tiny bug can create unexpected problems. So fixing one issue can accidentally create another issue. So the final months are often spent testing every possible scenario. Players stealing vehicles, starting missions in unusual ways, flying aircrafts into crowded areas, destroying properties, switching between characters, driving across the map at maximum speeds. Rockstar has to make sure the game can handle all of it without glitching out. So the first expectation is more marketing. So we can expect to see more marketing coming from Rockstar, more images, screenshots, artwork, trailers, more details. So that's definitely going to be coming out in the next few months, right up until the release. They will try to kind of push it more towards us and get us more into pre-ordering it if we haven't, but more into also anticipating for the release. The next expectation is trailer 3 and the gameplay. Alright, so similar to the marketing thing, trailer 3 is probably going to be released also sometime soon, and then we'll probably also see some gameplay. I don't know if that will be in trailer 3 or a separate video, but before the release they will have an actual gameplay video released. Alright, now expectation 3 is hands-on previews. So this is another important milestone, right? And before launch, Rockstar often invites selected journalists, content creators, and other people to kind of have a hands-on experience, right? And these people will probably get to experience the game first and just give their inputs on it, and basically maybe talk to their viewers about it also. All right, expectation 4 is more official information. Right now, there's a lot of speculations, right, on the map, the area, the characteristics, the weapons, everything, right, the missions. So this will be the time we'll get a little bit more information, and it'll be more concrete rather than just speculation. All right, the next expectation is preloads and download size. Closer to the release, digital stores will start preparing for the launch, right? So this includes preload dates, file size estimates, system requirements. Right now, there is an estimate on how big the game will be, but it all depends on when the game is actually released to know the exact size. All right, number 7 is number 6, I believe, is review copies. So, I don't know if they will normally do this with GTA 6 since there's no real copies, but I know for other ones they've done review copies. So GTA 6 will more be similar to the other one, where they might get a few hands-on people to test it out, and that's pretty much it. All right. So yeah, number 6. Next one is leak prevention. So one thing Rockstar will almost certainly do is increase its security. The last thing they want to do is have a leak out right before the game release, right? That kind of ruins the fun and everything. So they try their best to be more strict about that. So now, what does this all mean for you guys? All right. So it's important to stay realistic, right? You shouldn't really expect something major that there's a lot of speculation out there, so kind of you have to do your own due diligence on to see what is real, what is exaggerated. A lot of people just making AI stuff and AI videos about gameplays, and it's all fake right now. Every day there are like fake countdowns, fabricated leaks, random insider claims. Not every rumor deserves attention. There are some rumors that may be real, but most are fake. So definitely just watch out for that. So the final months before Rockstar releases are usually some of the busiest, right? Like I said, marketing accelerates, media coverage increases. They'll be talking to more journalists, working with other big companies to market themselves, right? So GTA 6, if it truly enters its lockdown phase, then that's when we're going to start seeing more this shift from development into somewhat of a launch mode. All right. So now, what are you hoping for Rockstar's next reveal? Would you rather see another cinematic trailer, or do you want a full gameplay demonstration? Me personally, I want to see the actual gameplay. The cinematic trailers are cool, amazing, but at the end of the day, the gameplay is what you're going to be doing for most of the time. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm expecting, right? So let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to GTA 6 Explained, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any news, updates, guides, and breakdowns. So yeah, keep watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.